Welcome to Jacksonville for Life, a show promoting a culture of life in Jacksonville by informing young mothers of the alternatives to abortion and the countless number of people who are willing to assist them with their pregnancy, and by educating the public on what abortion does to our city. Before I introduce our guest, the president of Jacksonville for Life, Brad STRALEY, has an important announcement.
Good afternoon. We have the National Life Chain coming up October 3rd, Sunday, at 2 p.m. and just some of the locations here in town will be at Regency Square, Riverside at Stockton and Roselle Street, Jacksonville Beach on 3rd Street, San Wandel Catholic Church in South Jacksonville, Orange Park on Blanding, Palm Coast and St. Augustine, Moultrie Road. I know I went over all those locations quickly, but if you get to our website, jacksonvilleforlife.org, there'll be contact information for the people that are running it, telephone numbers and email addresses. Caron, back to you.
Yes, we have with us here today Judy from First Coast Women's Services, and also Kendra is visiting us today. And Judy, I mean, how did FCWS come about?
Well, like so many ministries, Caron, it started out of a need. Started with one family in Jacksonville in the Mandarin area, and their teenage daughter became pregnant. This was a Christian family, and so they were not really considering abortion, but they were trying to find services and help for this young girl, and there was nothing really for her. So this family decided they would start a crisis pregnancy center. So they sent off and got information about how to do that. And one of our younger friends is here today singing for us, so she's going to be singing in the background. That's Kaylee. We'll meet her in a minute. But, so they actually began a pregnancy center, got Henry Hyde, a congressman, to come speak, had a banquet in 1992, and opened the doors in Mandarin for the first of First Coast Women's Services locations in 1994. So we've been seeing clients since 1994.
Wow. Okay, and what kind of services does it provide?
Well, all of our services, of course, are free and confidential, and we are a faith-based pregnancy care center. So we don't do abortions or refer for abortions, but we provide all kinds of wonderful services. We have free pregnancy tests, free peer counseling, limited ultrasound. Most of our clients are able to see a free ultrasound of their babies, and then we have a program that they can get into, kind of an earn-to-learn program, the HOPE program, where they can earn a full-size baby crib and all kinds of things, everything that they need for a newborn baby, maternity clothes, baby clothes, diapers, and they come in every 2 or 3 weeks all throughout the pregnancy to meet with their counselor. And we do this because not only because the education is great, parenting skills, Bible studies, they have their choice, but also because we know that although many women really don't think they would consider abortion, they're facing very difficult obstacles in their lives, and sometimes without support they might move in that direction and make that choice. So we know if they keep coming in where we can give them referrals and help and education, they're going to be able to remain strong. We also have a wonderful adoption support service for those clients who feel like choosing adoption is their best option, and it is a great option now. We also have abortion healing because so many women, 1 in 3 American women will have an abortion by 45, so they can get abortion healing. We have 18 men counselors now, so we have things for the men, teaching them how to be dads or how to deal possibly with a previous abortion if they've had one. So we really do more than just deal with a gal that needs a pregnancy test. We try to give them all kinds of help and support throughout the pregnancy, and many of them up to a year afterwards will continue receiving help and support.
Right. Oh, that's great. And I know Kendra went through a bit of a time period when she had to experience the decision making and all that. I mean, would you be able to tell us a little bit about your life after you discovered that you were pregnant? And
well, to be honest, I wasn't that excited about it. I mean, I was already like, well, what do I do? And I felt really lost, and my husband at the time, he was there for support, but I just felt like that wasn't enough. I was depressed, and I really didn't know which way to go and where to start looking, or anything like that. So one day something just told me, get the yellow pages, and I started looking through the yellow pages, and you know, started looking at different agencies and stuff, and I came across First Coast Women's Services, and you know, I just called them and, you know, talked to somebody, you know, and you know, just went on from there, you know. That's how it started.
That's great. And I'm guessing that was probably a difficult time for you, like you said.
Oh yeah. I mean, alongside from the typical pregnancy stuff, like being really sick and you know, just being on edge and stuff, you know, I mean, that oof.
Kendra was so sick. I remember you made several appointments and couldn't come in because she couldn't even lift her head. So finally, our sonographer and Linda, one of our staff member counselors, went out to see her and did let her do the pregnancy test and begin to get her paperwork.
Yeah, they had to come and see me.
She couldn't even come in.
It was serious.
Well, that's great that they were able to go out and see you.
Yeah, it was really good that they, you know, did that. And I instantaneously, I had like this really warm feeling from First Coast. And when I first met Linda, I'm like, yeah, I want her to be my counselor. So, you know, it's good.
Right. And after you found them, how were they able to help? I mean, of course, besides meeting at your home.
Well, we were new to Jacksonville. We just, you know, came out here from Texas. So we were just one step away from being homeless, and you know, Linda helped me get into a maternity home called the Divine Mercy House, and she took me there, and you know, I fell in love with that place, and everybody was really hospitable there, and you know, it also allowed, you know, my husband to give him some time to allow things in our life to stabilize for us while I was, you know, dealing with the pregnancy and you know, everything like that. So I stayed at Divine Mercy House, and you know, over time they helped me get into school, and that's one of the things that they do there. You know, like they give you an opportunity to make the best out of your situation. You know, because even if you're going through something unplanned like a pregnancy, you know, your life doesn't have to end there. You know, so it's in the end, it really just boils down to, you know, what you want to do. You can help take control of this, and you know, and I think that the first step to that is having the right kind of support system. And First Coast and Divine Mercy House was that exact kind of support system that, you know, I've always wanted to have in my life, you know, and they helped me move forward.
Wow, that's great. And I've never actually heard of a maternity home before. That's great that they have places like that.
Yeah, and you know, I never would have thought that Divine Mercy House was, you know, so good in that way, but they really left an imprint on me, you know, them and First Coast. And you know, and when I first was in Divine Mercy House, I told them that one of my ultimate goals was to, you know, finish college, you know, because I couldn't. So I came across the school for medical transcription, and you know, they helped pay for everything, and you know, and I started school, you know, but it didn't end there. I still had to go through some twists and turns with that, because you know, like Judy said, I was so sick, you know, so it was hard, but I did it, you know, and that's one of the best feelings in the world, to tell yourself, you know, I'm gonna do this, and you actually go out there and you do it. You know, it's so good. It feels good.
Yeah, it's great that they have places out there that can help you out with that. And of course, this must be your daughter. Would you like to introduce her?
Yes, her name is Kaylee McFall, and she's the little bundle, the little star, the little character that helped make all this possible. I honestly think that if it wasn't for her, I still would be at that, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to start looking to try to get things right in my life, you know, so.
So she was definitely motivation.
She's a daddy's girl, too, isn't she?
Yeah, yes. Oh, yes.
And this was difficult for Ronald. This was a very tough time for him, because arriving here without work and a baby on the way and no place, a good place to live, it was very difficult, but he had some amazing things happen in his life, too, I think.
Yeah. While I was staying at the Divine Mercy House, he managed to, you know, get baptized, and that was a huge step for him, because coming up, he came from an entirely different religious background. You know, he grew up in the Jehovah's Witness, so, you know, and I feel that for a couple to move in the same direction, they have to focus on the same things, you know, and be a part of the same thing, and on a spiritual level, it should be no exception.
Definitely. And what would you want to say to other women who are facing an unplanned pregnancy like you had?
That it doesn't have to end there, you know, and it's okay to feel frustrated, you know, but don't just give up. You know, there's help out there. There's people that really, really, really want to help you, you know, so even if you're considering adoption, I mean, that's okay too. First Coast will help you, you know, and they give you counseling. You know, they give you life-changing counseling that allows you to get insight into yourself, into your life, you know, and if you're a couple, it can help, you know, bring you guys closer together, you know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And then back to you, Judy. How many people have you been able to help over the years with your group?
More than 20,000 since 1994. Wow. This year we'll have 4,000 client visits by the end of the year, which represents about 2,000 individual people. But because like KENDRA was able to have a number of return visits, we have a number of people that just come one time, but a lot of them continue, and we've now moved into, we have 4 different centers. We started just with the one in Mandarin, and then went to the beach for a beach center in 2005 in Jacksonville Beach. We now have a center out in McClenny in Baker County, and one in Clay County right on 220, almost at 220 and College Avenue, and that's a new center. It's been open just a year, just this month. Wow. So gives us the ability for people to find us more easily and not have to travel so far. Yeah.
Right. And does First Coast Women's Services receive money from taxpayers?
We don't receive any money except from the body of Christ. All donations. We don't have any government grants, any tax money, anything like that. We receive money from churches. We receive money through our banquet, through baby bottle campaign, through individual donors, just through the generosity of the body of Christ. And we love that because that way, when we're given the opportunity, we can share the love of Christ. We always share it through actions. And our counselors, and I think you picked up from KENDRA, are so loving, non-judgmental. If a woman comes in the door or a man, and it doesn't matter what their past has been like, they are loved and accepted right where they are, and we always pray with them and for them, and we ask for permission to share Christ with them, to encourage them in their walk of faith, and that's one of the great benefits of not receiving money with any strings attached to it, so we can do that.
Wow. And I understand you have an event coming up pretty soon, right?
We do. We have a wonderful event. Our largest fundraiser is our banquet, and it's on October 28th, which is the last Thursday in October. We always do it because it's the Thursday before Florida-Georgia weekend, so people can remember it and they stay in town. And it's at the Hyatt Riverfront Hotel downtown, and they can find out about it and come. The banquet itself is free. We don't charge for people to come to the banquet, but it is a fundraiser, so there is going to be an appeal, and we hope that by the end of the banquet, last year we had KENDRA and Ron and Baby and other wonderful stories. We hope that by the end of the banquet, people will be motivated, or God will tap them on the shoulder and say, you know, this organization is worthy of your support. And we try to do everything we can to show them that we handle the money well. We're members of ECFA, which is a national organization that a lot of churches belong to show that we're responsible in the way we use our funds. Everything we do is open to the public, you know, all of our information, all of our books. But the banquet always has a great speaker. I'm beginning to think people don't really come for the speaker, but we try to provide a good speaker for them also. And this year it's David Gibbs. And David Gibbs is an attorney with the Christian Law Association, and he goes around the country and speaks about all of our rights. He actually has a program about the Constitution, but he was involved with defending Terry Schiavo, and that's not the only thing, and he probably won't even be speaking much about that. He talks to groups of people about our rights and the value and sanctity of life from before birth to natural death, and he's just a great advocate, and he's a trial lawyer, so he's also just an interesting and great speaker. But even if you're not interested in David Gibbs, come anyway to the banquet and learn about us and what we do and how you can get involved. We're always looking for wonderful volunteers. We have over 170 volunteers.
Wow.
We're pretty much a volunteer-driven organization, and a number of them are men. And we're going to sign Kaylee up. She's going to sing at the banquet next year, I think, for us. So, so we're always looking for volunteers in all kinds of capacities, as well as, of course, people to come alongside us as donors and people to pray.